the part of Britain that rises and falls twice a day. Hi, hello, and welcome everyone. Hello to the warmest video this year yet. I am melting away on this chair, I tell you that. I've left the balcony door open in order for me to get some fresh air because it's still early in the morning and outside. It's a little bit colder than inside, but it feels as if there's 1,000 degrees in here, and we won't turn our AC on just yet because it's not that warm. But being used to temperatures of winter and spring, this is quite a change, and I feel like I'm melting away right now. So hopefully I'm gonna still be here when the video is finished. And today I want to check out with you this little video of the channel called Tom Scott. You've heard of his channel before. We've already watched videos from him, and he's talking about interesting stuff, unusual stuff that's going on in the UK that you wouldn't really see in other videos. So this one seems very interesting to me, and I wonder where we are right now. Looks like a beach, and I mean, there's so many beaches in the UK, so I can't really tell where exactly he is, but I think he's gonna tell us. And why the heck is this part of Britain rising and falling twice a day? I have absolutely no clue, and that's why we will jump in the video right away. Let's go.
Have you ever read a fact somewhere and just not believed it? This is
I
Newlyn
have.
in Cornwall, in the far southwest of England. When the British government's maps say that a mountain peak is so many metres above sea level, they are talking about this sea level, the average sea level here. There's a little hut on that harbour wall, and underneath it there is a narrow vertical well that connects to the ocean. So the height of the water in that well is the height of the tide. The waves don't make a difference. So for 6 years, 1915 to 1921, automatic equipment and human tidal observers measured the sea level here, and the average of all those measurements became the Newlyn datum, the 0 point from which all heights in Britain are measured. The land here is solid granite, stable into deep time, so it seemed like a reasonable place to use as a baseline.
Oh my gosh, just look at that. Sitting in my hot ass room melting away. This would be heaven right now. I think even in summer this water might still be really, really cold, because I only know that from Germany, from the Northern Sea, that it's still really cold even in the summer months. And since the UK is even more northern than northern Germany, I think this water is not gonna get really warm. However, I wouldn't care at the moment. I jump straight into this. Wait, probably not jump straight into it because A, this would be dangerous at those temperatures, and B, also I hate cold. So I probably walk my way really slow into this water and then just be like, oh my gosh, relief. Also, it looks really beautiful. I'd love to be there right now. I wish I could just teleport, you guys. If this was a possibility, we'd be filming my reaction right then and there, and I could just show you everything in real life. Unfortunately, we can't do that. So, I'm sorry. The hell? I feel as if I'm going insane with these temperatures, just rambling on about random stuff that no one's interested in. Let's just jump straight back into the video, forget everything I said in the last 2 minutes.
Baseline. So that's fine. That's all sensible. The fact that I didn't believe is this whole part of Britain, the whole Cornish Peninsula for hundreds of miles, rises up and falls down by several centimetres twice a day,
Wow.
measurably, because of the weight of the tides. Now, if that was true, it would be common knowledge, surely. And wouldn't it cause earthquakes every day? I read that, and honestly, I didn't believe it, even as I looked round and started to find peer-reviewed papers about it. So I arranged to talk to one of the authors of one of those papers, a world expert on ocean tide loading, and yeah.
On some days, Cornwall might only move up and down by 3 or 4 centimetres compared to its sort of average position, whereas on other days, the movement might be 7 or 8 centimetres, so a total range of maybe even 15 centimetres.
That's a lot.
There's a horizontal movement that's about a third or so, typically, of the vertical movement in most places. So how we've measured the movement of Cornwall and other places is using GPS, the Global Positioning System. And we can measure that distance really very precisely indeed at something like the 2 or 3 millimeter level of precision. Now, there are a lot of errors that cause a bias in this measurement that we have to deal with the effect of, for example, the change in speed of the radio signal as it goes through different layers in the Earth's atmosphere and so on. But what we can do is we can make huge numbers of measurements of this. Our measurement of the average tidal motion becomes very, very accurate and precise indeed. So we measure that tidal signal not just over one tidal cycle, but actually over a period of 3 or 4 years, maybe even as much as 10 or 12 years.
It makes sense, I guess, that the weight of water would compress what's underneath it.
Yeah, of course it would. Like, what I'm asking myself is, how do the houses behave, or how does that influence the houses that are standing on this ground? Because I would imagine that the movement every single day, like you said, twice a day, that would influence the building structure of the houses, and maybe the danger of them crumbling down one day, or just, I don't know, having damages in the building structure. I think that's a very high risk, right? Because if the underground or the ground they're standing on isn't stable and going up and down all the time, I think we really shouldn't build on that ground, right? I don't know. I mean, I've seen houses in the background of that video, so I guess people are living there. But I just don't think that this wouldn't have any ramifications for all the buildings in this area. Maybe it's gonna explain. However, that's a very interesting fact. And I wonder if the people who live there do know about that risk. Like, are the buildings cheaper over there? And do people get told when they move there, like, actually be careful, because one day there might be happening something. There might be bigger earthquakes. There might be like damages at your house more often that you have to repair, and you have to take care of the structure of your house more. Do people know? Is some of you living in this area? Please let me know. I'm really interested in knowing all the ramifications that this sea level has on the actual land and the buildings standing on it.
The weight of water would compress what's underneath it. A few back-of-the-envelope calculations, and you can work out that there are gigatons of water moving out there, in and out, twice a day. And yeah, at the most extreme high and low tides, this whole area can move as much as 6 or 7 centimetres up and down.
That's crazy.
But why does it happen here and not everywhere else?
The gravitational forces of the sun and the moon that are what's causing the ocean to move in the tides just happen to synchronize more or less in their timescale with the way in which the North Atlantic is able to move. It's just a little bit like if you have a glass of juice, that if you swirl it around at just the right speed, you can build up quite a big slosh around the edges of the glass. Whereas if you swirl it at completely the wrong speed, as it were, for that glass, then you get a much smaller amount of motion. Around the coastlines of the major oceans are the places where the tidal loading is generally larger. So around Western Europe, Greenland, and through to the Bay of Fundy, around the Atlantic coast there, around the Gulf of Alaska, and also around New Zealand. So
this map is so funny to me because my brain needed a second in order to understand what's going on here, because of the fact that the land is blank and the water is colored. Usually it's the other way around, or like the water is just blue on a map and the green is usually land. So my brain like just needed a second here to understand what's going on. Interesting though what he's saying there. Oh, okay. I had absolutely no clue that this was, like, I know that the sea level does rise and fall every now and then, and the water is higher and the water is lower, but that it can actually lift, like, whole parts of countries up and down, like, twice a day. I didn't know about that. Also, I love the science behind all of this and that they really explain what exactly is going on here. I mean, I'm not clever enough to really understand this map and what it's telling us. For example, what are all these like lines for? I don't get that. But I can see like the color scheme, like all the red areas out there, and where it's like happening more often, or where the influence of the sea level is bigger or less. This is kind of interesting, this whole thing, and also over here, because this is just light blue or dark blue, but it doesn't even go into green. So there's literally no ramifications at all in this area. But underneath here, this is like dark red already over here as well. They are so close. That's so weird. I guess you would have to study all of this in order to really understand what this map is showing us
Around
and
New
why
Zealand.
it
So the
happens.
reason it doesn't start causing big things like earthquakes is, again, because these movements, although they add up to something appreciable and measurable by our new modern accurate techniques, are actually very small relative to the scale of the whole Earth. But that's sufficient for the most accurate engineering work to need to worry about this problem.
Thanks so much to Professor Clark. I've put links to him and to the papers that I read in the description.
This channel just keeps on giving. Like, I'm seeing this videos, the bridge that's in 2 countries at the same time. I don't know what it says on the left here. I can't really read it, but it says Germany over here. This looks so interesting. I just want to watch the next video. Really good channel. Go and follow Tom Scott on his channel on YouTube, because he really makes some interesting videos. This one especially, because I had no clue that this was going on, and I didn't even know that there were parts of countries that are influenced more by the sea level rising and falling, and there are also parts in other countries where it doesn't affect anything at all. Did you know all of that? I feel that this is something really, really special, something that you would have to be interested in order to read about it or watch a documentary about it, which makes it even more special in my eyes. And I love YouTube for giving us the opportunity to dive into those topics. It's just what the internet is for. So thank you so much, and I hope you had just as much fun as I had watching his video. I will see you in the next one. Have a nice day. Bye!